Hi, my name is Matt Weimer, and for my emerging topic, I chose to look at the paperless classroom. As most of you have probably experienced, more and more of the classroom content is making its way online, and so I wanted to take a moment and look at the research and see whether or not that movement is benefiting our students. We know how much they love working with technology, but does the research support that movement? So, off the top, some benefits of going paperless. Most of these apps offer an interface that students are familiar with, whether they mimic Twitter or Facebook. It's really easy for them to use. It gets them engaged, it gets them excited. Students who might not want to participate in the classroom, they're very good at participating over an online forum, sending videos and chatting without having to do it in person. And it also creates a borderless classroom where kids can access it at any time. So if they're studying for a test or they need to review something, if all of the stuff is online, it's really easy for them to do that. It's also easier for teachers. There's no missing papers. Everything's online. Students have assigned folders that they can place documents and assignments in, and it's easier for you to keep track of. Some of the drawbacks, you might have some students who have limited skill levels, especially students with disability, I found in my research. Some schools might struggle to have resources. A lot of the paperless models that were successful also implemented a one-to-one technology ratio, and so if your school doesn't have the ability to do that, that could hurt your progress. And then accessibility to the internet, whether at home for students or at school. If you're going to implement a school-wide paperless classroom, you're going to need to improve your bandwidth and other tech skills so that the system doesn't crash when you try to use it. In terms of the research, these are some of the key things I looked at. Number one was teacher training. What I found in the research was that teachers don't just simply need to be handed the manual and say, okay, now go from here. They need someone to show them why it would be a benefit in their classroom. So there are many different ways that you can do that. You have in-person professional development models with education. I know that my wife works for a company called Trucka, which does a lot of stuff with Apple, and they come to schools and they work with teachers. Some states like Florida, they have a massive online resource with all kinds of webinars and training sessions that they can attend. And then even like Google and other applications, they offer free trainings that can help with their product. I also wanted to look at the cost analysis. If you go paperless, you're going to save on printer paper, ink, and maintenance. And even though the tech costs are very massive up front, they disappear over time. Like when you buy a new car, when you pay it off, you're done and you still have the car. So in one case study I looked at, Dixie Heights, they spent over $200,000 a year on paper and tech. If they went to a one-to-one model for their 1,300 students, you see the cost there of the iPads, and even in a 5-year window, they would save about $120,000 a year. And there's more information with that in my research paper that you can look at on my wiki page. And then finally, I went for student performance. A lot of the research is inconclusive, but the one thing that all of it showed was there is a massive increase in student engagement. They're more excited to learn, they're more excited to participate in class, and even though the research called it a wool in sheep's clothing, it's working. Students are wanting to be in a classroom that appears to be paperless. In terms of achievement, it's inconclusive. There's data to support the argument that it's better for students, especially as more state testing moves online. There's data to support that paper is still the best means for students to learn because it gives them something to have in their classroom. There's questions about whether it's the paperless model that should be given the success or the way that a teacher uses it. And then some students that are really handy with technology, that really love technology, they obviously love the model more. Whereas students who might not value tech as much, they find it more disruptive. So, kind of to wrap up, as an instructional leader of a school, I would recommend this because I think that we are moving into a more paperless world, and students need to be given a chance to experience that while we have them in school. It's all about producing 21st century students and citizens and workers, and I think this helps nudge us in that direction. I also think that over time, as the organizational management part of it, you could kind of implement this in a school-wide forum.